Good evening, everybody. Namaskar. Welcome to this great occasion this evening when we are assembled here to celebrate Rashtriya Ekta Diwas, the National Unity Day. And today it's a matter of great joy, great happiness that all of us have gathered here to celebrate this great day. It's not only a day of joy and happiness but also inspiration. We are remembering the great figures of our freedom struggle, and also it gives us an opportunity to meet you all as gives us the opportunity, all of us, to come here together and continue our discussions in the spirit of exchange of how it feels like an Indian diaspora in Denmark. So you know that from time to time we meet in this format as open house. There would be a series of speakers, they will speak, and of course there will be later opportunities for all of you, if you want to reflect on something, speak questions, pose it to speakers, etc. And this dialogue and this conversation would continue. But today on 31st October we especially planned this program because it coincides with several things, and as you can see that we have several offerings there. And that is what brings us all together here. First of all, of course, this is Rashtriya Ekta Diwas, the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and you heard Pankaj that how in great respect we hold him, because he is called the Iron Man of India, and he ensured that India geographically and territorially after the independence remained united, and it remained in this shape in which we see India today. Otherwise, the colonial power had spared no efforts to leave India in 560 different pieces. And that was their game plan. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, with the help of and with the mobilization of people of India in the struggle for independence, defeated that nefarious design. Of course, the British succeeded in ultimately partitioning the country, but the India of today, we owe a great deal to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and his vision that we remain united. And of course, in the way he carried on negotiations with various princely estates, is also a big, inspiration and kind of great learning for us as diplomats, because a diplomat deals with foreign countries, and with some princely estates, he had to deal with them as if they were a foreign country. And some of them had wanted to remain like a foreign country. They didn't want to come under the fold of India. And that later created a lot of complications. So of course, on this day, not only we remember Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, but we also take the pledge of unity, and there would be a pledge. You can give that to me, and we will later take that pledge. I also want to here recall that we see the poster of Mission Life here, Lifestyle for Environment, and it was the call of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi that today, when we are all faced with the problem of climate change and environmental challenges, and you can see that how climate change is affecting all the countries in the world, including in Denmark, we had a very warm day today on this 31st October, unimaginable, and we will, many people who are living here for many years probably would recount whether they had such a warm 31st October so far. Maybe it's already also Halloween, so maybe. But I remember that in 2022, we were from the Ministry of External Affairs, we had a special program, and we were all taken to this place in Kevadia, where the Statue of Unity stands. This is the tallest statue in the world of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and we all sat here, at the feet of this statue. And Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, together inaugurated this Mission Life. And what is this Mission Life about? It is about consciously reducing our consumption. We, in our consumption today, waste a great deal of things. We buy things which we don't need. We have food on our plate which we don't eat. We leave our electricity on or heating on while we are not there, and then maybe it is understandable in some cold climate countries, but places like in India. And so if we lower consumption, we help ourselves, we help planet Earth. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during that speech, I remember I was present there, he said that, just to take a simple example, that if you run your air conditioner not on 21 degree of centigrade, which would make it very cold, leave it at 24 or 26. It runs throughout the day. It is much, friendlier to climate rather than, being feeling cold inside and stepping outside where it is very, very hot. So things like that, we need to adapt our lifestyle, and that was Mission Life about, and that also it relates to the birth anniversary of Sardar Patel. That great inspiration came from there. So there are so many things on which we can relate on the National Unity Day. Then it's a big occasion that we are celebrating the Janjatiya Gaurav Varsh. So glorifying our tribes in India. And you know that when we think of history of India, we think that there was an independence struggle. There were leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, Subhash, Rajendra Prasad, many others, Badshah Khan, and Maulana Azad, and many others. But we tend to forget our tribal heroes. And Birsa Munda was one of the pioneers, who stood, and in the Chota Nagpur region, he stood against the oppression. Ultimately, was incarcerated and gave his life as sacrifice to the freedom of the nation. And with that great spirit in which Birsa Munda and many other tribal leaders led that struggle, this is also a matter of pride for us, and we should not forget that. And in fact, today among our array of speakers, there would also be Mr. Sudhir Mishra. I think that he will be here soon. Mr. Sudhir Mishra, who is an advocate in the Supreme Court, would also speak on what we have done for protecting tribal rights and protecting tribal lands. And India has a very special case for protecting our tribes, unlike many other countries where tribes became history and they went into the museum, but not in India. So we have to remember that also. This is also a special occasion because we are going to release 2 community magazines today. And this is not easy to release a magazine. We had actually worked on them for a long, long time. And actually the original plan was to release them in the month of May. But you know that this nefarious terrorist attack by Pakistan based groups and Pakistan-sponsored terrorists, they came in Pahalgam, and this mayhem was there, and we were also deeply affected and also a bit diverted. So we could not do it in May, but we continued to work on this magazine. And finally, we decided that we would issue the magazine on Diwali. So I'm very grateful to publishers who have done their bit. The Global, Mr. Mrityunjay Mishra, who is the editor, he is there. He would also be speaking. And then the directory and the publisher, Mr. Hans Hermansen, who is right now in India. He could not be here. He's going with a group of journalists around India with a group brought together by Ministry of External Affairs. So we ensured that this magazine of the Global this time would only be on India. So it would give you a glimpse of, I think you would get copies, it would give you a glimpse of what India is doing in Denmark. It would be very fine. And then also Mr. Harwani, he brings out regularly the directory of Indians in Denmark, and Mr. Harwani belongs to that generation when he came to Denmark when there were very few Indians. And now there are 22,000 plus Indians living in Denmark. So I asked Mr. Harwani that why do we need to bring a directory of Indians in Denmark? So he said that no, there are some other important things which should go into directory like information, and we agree with that. We have given some information relating to consular services of Embassy of India. So people do get they do need information about passport, visa, some attestation. So some kind of information is there. But of course, for other things, Embassy is always available, and we talk about that. So we'll release that also. And then we have a series of speakers today. A very, very interesting constellation of speakers. They, from their different perspectives, they would like to give a glimpse of how life in Denmark is for members of Indian diaspora. And they come from varied backgrounds. Some of them came from India while they were adults, adapted to life in Denmark, and it's an experience of many of us who learned something from their experiences to to make our lives more adaptable, better in Denmark, and get to the next level of success. We are all successful people in Denmark, but of course there is always a constant thought that how we can make our lives better and how we can contribute to Danish society where we live. And lastly, and not the least, how can we always contribute to India-Denmark friendship? Because this is our prime thing as diaspora, that we should always uphold that principal position that India and Denmark can always work together. So we would, of course, when Pankaj would introduce the speakers, we would hear them and their experiences. Two of them are very interesting speakers because they're also contesting elections in the upcoming municipal elections in Denmark. And I'm happy to see that people from Indian background, Indian diaspora people, are also now foraying into politics and contributing to the democratic process in Denmark, which is very good. This meeting is not about any election campaign, but they would speak about their experience, and I think that you would be very happy to hear them. So I think that all in all, it would be a very interesting evening, which would be a journey from national aspirations to the fine granular thing that how we live in Denmark and how we contribute to the Danish society while living here. And these diaspora speakers are from the young ones to not so young ones. Young ones are full of energy and not so young ones are full of wisdom. So we'll hear everybody. And with this, while the program will go on, let us take the National Unity Pledge. I would request you to rise, and it would be on the screen. And I would read out the pledge, and I would request that you follow along to spread this message among my fellow countrymen. I take this pledge in the spirit of unification of my country, which was made possible by the vision and actions of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. I also solemnly resolve to make my own contribution to ensure internal security of my country.
Thanks for watching Indiavision. Give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. All comments are welcome. Hope to see you soon.